It's very diabolical and narcissistic to think that you can hijack your own child's wedding and run it the way you want it on his day.
Ever since the marriage, Nicola and Brooklyn are noticeably missing from a lot of family events. Not only do they miss out on family events, but they also have missed out on several Christmases.
This was supposed to be the ultimate celebrity fairy tale. The golden boy of a football empire, a billionaire heiress, and a wedding so glamorous it froze the internet. But behind the designer gowns, the sparkling mansions, and those flawless Instagram smiles, something ugly had been brewing for years. And now, Brooklyn Beckham has blown it all up, publicly, painfully, and without a single glance back. What started as quiet whispers about wedding drama has erupted into one of the messiest family feuds in modern celebrity history. For the first time, Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz aren't staying quiet anymore. Let's dive into how everything unraveled, how it got this wild, and why this feud might have shattered the Beckham family name for good. Brooklyn Beckham grew up under constant spotlight pressure, the firstborn of global icons David and Victoria Beckham. Fame, money, and endless expectations were his normal life. But as Brooklyn tells it, that same glamorous world slowly turned into a cage he couldn't escape. For years, people whispered about tension between Brooklyn, his wife Nicola, and the Beckhams. Most called it gossip, some brushed it off as family drama, and others claimed everything was fine behind closed doors. But that illusion ended when Brooklyn dropped a shocking multi-part statement online that sent fans into a frenzy. In it, he accused his parents of trying to control his every move, interfering with his marriage, and putting brand Beckham above his own happiness. And the wildest part, Brooklyn didn't hold back or hint at any peace talks. He made it clear there's no going back now. That one statement flipped everything upside down. To really get why this feud exploded, we've got to rewind to April 2022, the day Brooklyn and Nicola threw their over-the-top Palm Beach wedding. On the surface, it was pure luxury. 500 guests, celebrity faces everywhere, and a multi-million-dollar celebration dripping in gold at the Peltz family's oceanfront mansion. But behind the champagne smiles, the cracks were already spreading fast. Brooklyn says the first real crack came from the dress drama.
Nicola was supposed to walk down the aisle in a stunning Victoria Beckham original couture gown. But at the last minute, she showed up in this Valentino dress. When asked why she switched dresses, Nicola said it didn't work out. But apparently Victoria was blindsided. After the wedding, Nicola's father ended up suing Nicola's wedding planners. And in the midst of all that drama, it was revealed that Victoria Beckham was allegedly difficult to work with.
According to him, Victoria Beckham had promised to design Nicola's dream gown, but then suddenly backed out at the last minute. Nicola ended up wearing Valentino instead, but Brooklyn claims that last-minute chaos crushed the vibe and left Nicola heartbroken during what was supposed to be the happiest time of her life. The Beckham side kept quiet, never confirming or denying anything. But soon, different stories started flying around. People close to both families said it wasn't just a miscommunication. It was a full-blown power struggle. And then came the scene that's still haunting the tabloids today, the wedding dance. During the reception, Mark Anthony took the mic for what Brooklyn says was supposed to be his and Nicola's first dance. But out of nowhere, the moment flipped. Mark called for the most beautiful woman in the room and said Victoria's name instead. Brooklyn claims Nicola ran off crying while Victoria took the floor, dancing with him in front of hundreds of guests. He described it as one of the most humiliating, awkward moments of his life, a scene that changed everything that night. Brooklyn says he was told to put his hands on his mother's hips while his new wife stood off stage crying. And that moment still haunts him. Witnesses described the whole room freezing up. Guests exchanging nervous looks, unsure whether to clap or pretend nothing happened. Brooklyn insists that single scene ruined what should have been the happiest night of their lives. He says the memory felt so poisoned that he and Nicola later renewed their vows in private just to reclaim what was stolen from them. To him, that dance wasn't just awkward, it was symbolic, a message about control, boundaries, and power. In his words, it was proof that his parents couldn't fully let him live his own life. But that was only the beginning of the storm. In his statement, Brooklyn dropped another bombshell. He claimed that before the wedding, his parents tried to pressure him into signing papers that would give away rights to his own name. He said it wasn't just business, it would have affected Nicola, their future kids, and everything he planned to build on his own. Not long after, Brooklyn made a major move. He officially switched his name to Brooklyn Peltz Beckham. What once looked like a cute marital change now reads like a public declaration of freedom. Brooklyn didn't stop there. He claimed that even love in the Beckham family came with strings attached. According to him, support was conditional, tied to public appearances, social media posts, and anything that fit the brand Beckham image. Skip a show, miss a photo op, or fail to promote the brand, and the distance grew instantly. And now, even with all the backlash, Brooklyn and Nicola seem completely unbothered. They're posting, smiling, and moving on as if they've finally decided they don't need the Beckham Empire's approval anymore. The couple was recently spotted strolling through Malibu, arm in arm, looking calm, affectionate, and completely in sync. Sources close to them say they finally feel free, relieved that all the hidden tension is now out in the open. After years of pretending everything was perfect, they reportedly believe speaking their truth lifted a massive emotional weight off their shoulders. Now 26, Brooklyn seems determined to build a quieter, more authentic life, far away from the blinding spotlight of the Beckham empire. He's thrown himself into food, sharing his cooking with Brooklyn videos, launching his Cloud 23 hot sauce brand, and pouring energy into lifestyle projects that have nothing to do with his parents' fame. For him, this isn't rebellion, it's survival, a way to build his own name without constantly being compared to theirs. Meanwhile, the silence from the Beckham side has been absolutely deafening. David and Victoria haven't made a single public comment. No denial, no statement, no effort to clear the air. Insiders say the family is heartbroken, but staying quiet on purpose, knowing that one wrong move could make the feud spiral even more. But that silence hasn't stopped the damage. Reports claim Brooklyn has blocked both of his parents on social media and now only allows contact through lawyers. His younger siblings have stayed neutral in public, but fans have been dissecting everything, from their song choices to captions to the timing of their posts, searching for clues about where their loyalties really stand. And through all of this chaos, one huge question hangs in the air. Can this family ever be truly mended again? Is this feud just emotional or something way deeper? For decades, Brand Beckham was built on a spotless image. Family unity, discipline, and a picture-perfect dynasty that ruled global pop culture. But now that glossy image is cracking right in front of the world's eyes. And the truth is, we've only seen half of what's really going on. This is where the feud stops being about hurt feelings and starts to look like a full-on identity crisis. When Brooklyn accused his parents of choosing Brand Beckham over their own family, he wasn't just lashing out, he was challenging the foundation of one of the most carefully crafted celebrity empires of the last 25 years. The Beckhams mastered the art of control. Every red carpet pose, every family photo, every interview designed to sell unity, power, and perfection. They didn't just build fame, they built a legend. But Brooklyn's explosive statement tore straight through that legend like a wrecking ball. He claims that the pressure started early, way before he ever chose a career. Growing up, he says he lived with constant anxiety, always aware that every move he made wasn't just his, it was part of a business strategy. Even small choices, from what he wore to how he smiled, were carefully watched because everything reflected on the Beckham name. For years, Brooklyn played along. He tried modeling, jumped into photography, even tested the acting scene, but nothing ever truly fit. Critics called him a Nepo baby, and that label stuck like glue. To the outside world, it all looked like endless privilege and opportunity. But to Brooklyn, it felt like pressure, heavy, unrelenting, and impossible to escape. He wasn't just chasing dreams, he was fighting to prove he was more than a brand name stamped on his birth certificate. Brooklyn says it felt like he was never allowed to fail in peace. Every mistake became a headline. That's why the context of Nicola Peltz entering his life hit so hard. She was completely different from everything he'd known. Nicola didn't grow up inside the polished Beckham machine. Her family, despite their insane wealth, valued privacy, emotional closeness, and independence over public image. Brooklyn has said over and over that being with Nicola opened his eyes to what real family warmth could look like. And once he saw that kind of love, the kind that didn't need cameras or public approval, he says there was no turning back.
Furthermore, on Victoria's diabolical ways, she hasn't gotten over it, and she feels she has the authority to even ruin Brooklyn's marriage by bringing in his exes in family functions. Like, what a spiteful bitch. I mean, people have said that she takes herself too seriously, that now she's not just a Spice Girl anymore. She rubs shoulders with the monarchy, so that makes her even better. So they have a name they need to protect, like the monarchy.
Nicola showed him that life didn't have to revolve around reputation or branding, and that realization changed everything. But one of the most emotional and shocking claims in Brooklyn's statement wasn't about the wedding, fame, or money. It was about dogs. He claimed that during the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, Nicola reached out to Victoria asking for help rehoming displaced animals. According to Brooklyn, his mom refused to get involved. Fans were stunned by that detail. It hit way deeper than any designer dress or social snub. This wasn't about ego or etiquette, it was about compassion or the lack of it. Of course, nobody knows if the story is exactly as Brooklyn tells it. Maybe there was more behind the scenes, but for him, that moment felt like a clear example of emotional distance when he expected family unity the most. And that's what makes this entire feud so messy and emotional. There are no clear villains here, no heroes in shining armor, just two sides of one family, each convinced their version of the story is the truth. The internet's reaction has been brutally divided. Some people are fully behind Brooklyn, saying he's finally standing up for himself after years of living under impossible pressure. They see his honesty as raw, painful, but long overdue. To them, this isn't betrayal, it's liberation. But others are fiercely defending David and Victoria, pointing out all the years of love, opportunity, and sacrifice they've given him. They argue that some family lines just shouldn't be crossed, no matter how deep the hurt runs. And right in the middle of this firestorm stands Nicola, the lightning rod of the entire feud. Critics accuse her of being the one driving the wedge, whispering in Brooklyn's ear, and isolating him from his parents. But her supporters fire back hard, saying she's being unfairly blamed simply because she represents change. They claim she's not the problem. She's just the easy target for people who can't accept the idea that Brooklyn finally broke free from his parents' control. Brooklyn's been crystal clear on that point. He says Nicola doesn't control him at all. In fact, he insists it's the opposite, that stepping away from his parents is what finally gave him peace. And that distinction matters to him more than people realize. The timing of everything makes it even messier. This isn't some emotional outburst or impulsive move. Brooklyn says he kept quiet for years, trying to handle everything privately. But according to him, constant media leaks and family-controlled stories pushed him to the edge. Once he saw that happening, he decided silence wasn't an option anymore. And that's why this moment feels so final. When Brooklyn said he doesn't want reconciliation, it wasn't a threat, it was closure. He's done playing the family game, and for the first time in his life, he's choosing his own peace over the Beckham legacy. Brooklyn's words didn't sound like a temporary break. They sounded final, chosen, and painfully deliberate. That kind of statement would crush any parent, famous or not. Meanwhile, David Beckham has only addressed the situation in subtle, indirect ways, calmly saying that kids need room to make mistakes and learn from them. His tone was measured, controlled, and perfectly media-ready. To some, that restraint looks mature and wise, but to others it feels distant, almost cold. As for Victoria, her silence has spoken louder than any press release. She hasn't said a single public word, and people are reading that quiet in two completely different ways. Some see heartbreak, others see strategy. Insiders whisper that she's devastated by the thought of being shut out from Brooklyn and Nicola's future children's lives. And that, more than anything, might be the deepest cut of all. What comes next? Nobody really knows. Some crisis experts think time might eventually heal things, that public feuds like this tend to calm down once emotions settle and the cameras move on. They point to other celebrity families who fought hard and somehow managed to rebuild privately. But not everyone's that hopeful. Because once accusations this personal go public, there's no way to take them back. You can't erase headlines, screenshots, or years of speculation. No quiet family dinner can undo what millions have already seen, shared, and judged. And that's the real heartbreak here. Not the dance drama, not the designer chaos, not even the damage to brand Beckham. It's about a family realizing in real time what happens when private pain becomes public history. For now, Brooklyn and Nicholas seem set on keeping their distance. Fewer public events, tighter circles, and total control over their own story. They're choosing silence, not for drama, but for peace. A kind of peace that might finally let them live life on their own terms. David and Victoria are staying silent, maybe hoping that quiet dignity will speak louder than any denial ever could. But that silence leaves the whole world holding its breath, wondering, is this the end of the Beckham family saga, or the start of something even harder to come back from? Because when a family that's been built on perfect unity and global fame starts falling apart this publicly, the scars don't fade easily. And once that polished image cracks, the truth spills out for everyone to see. Not a brand, not a dynasty, but a family. Flawed, emotional, and painfully human. What do you think? Can the Beckhams ever find their way back, or is this split permanent? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this story, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild deep dives into celebrity drama.